Ms Legalista here, aka Attorney Sheila. We are going to be looking at the actual motion that was filed to get that video, audio, all of that footage, all of the documents behind a protective order in the Tyree Nichols case. First, we're going to start with the actual motion that was filed. Then we're going to take a look at the attorney who filed it. And finally, we're going to wrap up with the judge who signed it. Yeah. Kayla Solomon. This is actually her Twitter account here. This is where I was able to track this down. Finally, took me a moment. Wish I had done this in the reverse order, motion first, then order, but we take it as it comes. She says, here's that motion filed by attorney Blake Ballin. I keep having to look up his last name. Actually, let me be honest for a second. I'm not looking it up. I'm going to the CNN interview that he gave to make sure I got his name right. And I keep getting it wrong. I keep wanting to say Ballin, and that's not right. Let me play this again. Let's see if I can get this right this time. I don't know. We're going to try here. Blake Ballin. I don't know how I'm going to remember that. Blake Ballin. Here's that motion filed by attorney Blake Ballin, who's representing former MPD officer Desmond Mills Jr. The motion in part states that, quote, the public dissemination of discovery documents to the public can have prejudicial effect upon the defendant, unquote. Let's open this up and take a look at this and read this from beginning to end, so that we all can see everything that's being said here. Probably not a whole lot, a bunch of legalese, but in the Criminal Court of Tennessee for the 13th Judicial District at Memphis, State of Tennessee versus Desmond Mills Jr., motion for protective order. The defendant respectfully requests that the court enter a protective order preventing the state and the Memphis Police Department from releasing any further evidence related to this case to the public. News reports from March 7th, 2023 indicate that the Memphis Police Department intends to release additional information to the public on March 8th, 2023. According to these reports, this information will include videos, investigative reports, witness statements, and it is well within the court's authority to issue a protective order as requested. Let me stop there and talk, because this is, I think, the first time since I did a video a while back that talked about this secret witness. And now we see this in this motion. First of all, this protective order is coming after, think about this now, 4 videos have already been released. The full decertification records for all of those officers, all of that has been put out in the public domain for everybody to take a look at it. I've reviewed all of those documents. And then you have the EMTs hearings and their documents. All of this information is already out there. So there's a whole lot out there already. But the fact that they mentioned the secret witness, that had not been out there. The only information that we had about this secret witness was the information that was in the decertification documents. And you had to go back and take a look at the documents where it talks about the fact that while the incident was occurring on the night of January 7th, there was a person, a civilian witness, I believe is how the decertification documents referred to the person, a civilian witness who took video and photos of what was going on and could hear some of what was being said. That was in those documents. We've never known who this person is. I've always had the impression that since it said civilian witness, that this was not a person who was an employee, but was likely a person who was in the neighborhood, maybe a person who resides in the neighborhood, or someone who was passing through for whatever reason. But this secret witness, there may be some concerns now too, that this person's identity will now be public. I haven't seen anything yet that has provided this information so that we know who this person is. So it could be that that is one of the things that they are concerned about too. Not the only thing, not even necessarily the main thing, maybe. But can't you see how all of a sudden it's like, well, we're a little concerned here that all of this information that had not been released before is going to be released. I can see how this might be of a great deal of concern to them. Let's go back to Kayla Solomon's Twitter feed here. Next paragraph says, okay, so we just finished that up. According to these reports, it's going to include videos, investigative reports, and witness statements. Okay, next paragraph. While the public has a right, double checking some of my stuff there. While the public has a right to information involving a judicial proceeding, that right is not unfettered. Ballot v. Hertzky. The public dissemination of discovery documents to the public can have a prejudicial effect upon the defendant's right to a fair trial, and right to an impartial jury as guaranteed to a defendant by the Sixth Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. As the Tennessee Supreme Court has observed, quote, because of their inflammatory and sensitive nature, many of the records made available to the public as a result of the criminal discovery process would likely implicate the fair trial rights of a defendant as protected by the Sixth Amendment of the Constitution and the common law, statutory, and constitutional privacy interests of any third parties involved. There we go again. Third parties, people that may not have an interest in this because they're a defendant or an attorney representing the defendant, but some third party who really doesn't have any interest in this at all. So it sounds like that's coming up again. And I don't want to make too much out of it. I think they're just covering their bases, though. So I want to be really clear about that I'm not trying to blow that up into something big. But I do think that that person's testimony might be really important to this case. When made available to a prospective jury pool, discovery materials could impair a defendant's ability to receive a fair trial. Look at me. I have been covering a lot of the information about this. So yes, the prospective jury pool might see a lot of this that news media is covering, not just little old me. Additionally, the court has specifically noted that harmful and irreversible consequences that could potentially result from disclosing files that are involved in a pending criminal investigation. Materials that have been exchanged between the parties due to discovery and reciprocal discovery includes information that may or may not eventually be submitted as evidence at trial or some adjudicative action. A protective order is intended to offer litigants a measure of privacy while at the same time balancing the public concern to consume information surrounding a judicial proceeding. Wherefore, premises considered, it's Friday. Defendant prays this court enter a protective order preventing the state and the Memphis Police Department from releasing any further evidence related to this case to the public. I hope to speak much better at the beginning of the day and the beginning of the week, since I'm messing up all kinds of words here. And then we have Ballin and Fisher, and I've forgotten how to pronounce his name already. But that is what we have right here. There are a couple of retweets over here. Other than that, I don't see a whole lot going on with this. It's had 2,089 views. So people have looked at it. They're probably up to speed with this. Not sure who that is. But there you go. That's Kayla's tweet with the motion that was filed. The next thing we're going to do is to go over to the law firm's page so we can see a little bit more about Attorney Blake Ballin. I think I got that name right that time. You guys, if you think I got it right, you go ahead and give me a clap in the comments if you think I got it right this time around. While I find Blake and his team, pull up his law firm. I think it's a Blake and Fisher or something like that. But I'm going to find it. We're going to go directly to his page so that we can see a little bit more about him and what his firm does. Now, he has given a few interviews about the case, but we're going to open up his page here so that everybody can see. Ballin, I don't know. I just want to keep saying Ballin. My apologies for not being able to get this right. There he is on the page there. This is who is representing Desmond Mills, former Memphis police officer who was a part of the incident that occurred with Tyree Nichols on the night of January 7th that resulted in Mr. Nichols' death 3 days later on January 10th. Let's now go through and see what is on his website. He's got a live chat feature there. He's done some classes and seminars, General Sessions Criminal Court Training Seminar, How to Get Your Brother-in-Law Out of Jail at the Memphis Bar Association, instructor, Tennessee Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers Trial College. It's got some honors and awards listed there, memberships as attorneys. You know, we're usually members of bar associations. He's got those listed. He's got his education listed. So he attended Emory University in Atlanta, Georgia for his bachelor's degree and received his law degree from Fordham University School of Law in New York. He is 100% criminal defense. So this is likely someone who knows his stuff. If you're facing the charges that Mr. Mills is facing, then yes, you want someone who knows what he's doing when it comes to criminal defense. Remember, Mr. Mills is facing second-degree murder, assault, kidnapping, misconduct, and oppression charges. Bar admissions, Tennessee 2004, New York 2008, U.S. District Court, Western District of Tennessee 2004, and U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit in 2009. And then you can see over here to the right pretty much the kinds of practice areas that the firm as a whole handles. And this is a section on criminal defense right here, assault. Yep, you've got a list there. Personal injury, which they also handle, business and commercial litigation. So they handle all of those items, and then they've got a map here, and you can see where they are located. Can't say that I've ever been to Memphis, Tennessee. I suppose I would one day like to go. Let's head back over to the judge now. Now let's take a look at this judge. NPR had actually posted something. Now let me see if I can read what it said here. Yeah, it just said a judge in Tennessee has blocked the release of some 20 hours of additional video and audio recordings. Now, I thought somewhere it was way more than that. Maybe I'm off. I thought it was a whole lot more than that, but I could be entirely wrong. Obviously, I am. Now, let's look at, let me flip that back over to the right screen. Let's go find out about this judge. Let's see if we can pull that up, because now we have seen the motion that was filed. We have learned a little bit more about the attorney who is representing Mr. Mills. He was the one who filed it. And now we're going to check into this judge. I believe it was Judge James Jones Jr. that you see here in this picture here. Criminal Court Division 3. Says he was elected to criminal court in August of 2022. So he hasn't quite been in this position for a year. He graduated from the University of Memphis with a Bachelor of Science degree in the field of political science. He received his law degree from the University of Memphis School of Law. Prior to his election, he was a private attorney with his own law firm located in Bartlett for more than a decade. His law practice focused primarily on state and federal criminal defense issues, but also handled a variety of civil litigation matters. He's been married for 20 years and has 3 amazing children. He has made Memphis his home for the last 20 years and cares about his community. So there you have it. Those are the judges. That's the judge in particular that signed off on that protective order after the motion was filed by Attorney Ballin. I might be getting this. I might get this. By the time this case is over, I may have this down. I may know how to pronounce all of their names. So there you have it. You now have seen the request, which was the actual motion. I did another video on the order, so you have to go to that video to see that. And we also know the attorney, a little bit more about the attorney who filed that motion and the judge who signed off on it. So now that you're up to speed, go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. Thumbs up, give the video a like, whatever it is. Don't forget to click the notification bell so that you can stay up to speed whenever I release a new video on this topic and some of the other legal topics that I'm discussing on this channel. And hey, peace.